And hello everyone, and welcome back to week 73 of our Minecraft Let's Play series. How you all doing? I hope you're all doing very well this week. So, I do apologize for last week with the audio going out because of the fact that my microphone just didn't want to work, but that should be fixed and we should not have that problem for this week, which is great because now we can get to everything else. Here's the list for this week. Of course, we've got more masons for the villager hall, the pathing for the Jellie statue, some base improvements. I might do the plaza centerpiece, some new buildings or some walls. Get to at least one of these this week. And then also I want to start looking into a piglin bartering farm because I've noticed that, well, some of the items that I am missing or I've been kind of running low on would be fixed just by making a piglin bartering farm because I've been talking about needing iron. Well, the piglins drop iron nuggets, which we can craft into iron ingots and iron blocks respectively. And then we also been talking about needing gravel, and that's the reason why we've stopped on the Fletcher trades, and that is also given by piglins. Amongst other things like obsidian, crying obsidian, blackstone, which would mean I would not need to have to keep going and mining this out every week. So yeah, would not be a bad idea to start thinking about making a piglin bartering system. But for the time being, let's go ahead and head to our villager hall for you know exactly what we're doing. Because as per usual, the first thing that we are going to do is head into the nether to take our 9 villagers and of course send them down so that we can go ahead and send them through the portal. Repeat for the other villagers. And now that we have all of our villagers moved in here, we can go ahead and start moving them into their true locations. And now that we've got all of our villagers scattered throughout the room, designated by the dirt blocks, it is of course time to trade with them bricks, which definitely need to be used for like a build at some point. I have enough bricks for a lot of the blocks. And now stone. And now I need to start paying attention to these trades because I want to have a nice balance of all these trades, which currently we have 0 polished andesite, so I need to start trading with these guys to make sure that they actually, have a balance of the trades, which none of them have polished andesite, so that is not good. Alright, we'll trade with them anyway just to figure out what we can keep and what we can't keep. We're definitely not keeping all of these because we already have trades that are for granite. So let's see what colors they have. Blue and red, glazed terracotta. We need red, we don't need blue. Who's our other blue glazed terracotta trade? You are, and you take diorite and andesite, while this one takes, or they take emeralds for polished granite and dripstone. No, I'm sorry, sir, you don't get to stay. You have white and light blue. We already have white glazed terracotta somewhere. This might be good to start designating these with signs. There he is. He has a granite trade and polished diorite trade compared to andesite and polished diorite, which is not really going to make that much of a difference. So I'm sorry, sir, you do not get to stay. You have light gray and purple glazed terracotta, which neither of those are new, and you have a granite trade, so you don't get to stay either. You have. I forgot another quartz trade could be in here. Alright, well, goodbye, sir. That is immediately a way to tell that I don't need you. Pink and light blue. We already have light blue somewhere. We need pink, though. But with how the trades are, that's not going to make much of a difference, so bye, sir. You have another quartz trade. Brown and purple, neither of which I need. Yellow and magenta. These are actually trades I do need. So this wood, I guess, will get to stay, but that does bring our granite total up to 5 out of 6 and dripstone to 4 out of 6. So I'm gonna really need to start cracking down on those trades. And then you, my good sir, have black and magenta. We already have magenta terracotta, and this guy also has granite and dripstone, which I literally just said have the same trades as this guy, meaning that I don't want to increase these numbers, so goodbye, sir. And that means out of the 9 villagers that I brought today, 1 got to stay. Am I surprised? No. Am I disappointed? Yes. Because I really could have used more villagers, but what are you gonna do then, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead, clean up, and next time we'll go ahead and hopefully get better villagers. But for now, let's head back to our base and we'll get to work on something else. And for that something else, we're actually going to pull out all the blackstone that I have, as well as a bunch of tuff, and maybe another block. I'm not too sure, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to head to the cat statue, the Jelly statue, to work on some pathing. So I'll meet you guys over there. And alright, now that we are here, you also might notice that I've actually worked a bit around here. It is no longer just, a bunch of holes in here. It is a somewhat flat surface up to a certain point, because I did this for about 2 hours and then got very tired and my hands started hurting. But if you come up to Jellie's head, you can see that about from here to there is where I got. Of course, there's some holes, and I'm hoping to have those finished in the next week, as well as the fact that there is 2 dark spots essentially just going around the entirety of this area. But we'll worry about that when the time comes, because for right now, what I want to do is I want to figure out how I want these to look. When I say these, I mean the pathing that I want to have here, because I want to have a path that goes from there, like the stairs here, which I should honestly probably change for being blackstone for what I'm about to do. So, and then we'll go ahead and have blackstone borders probably come down here in a straight line, and I think possibly connect up with these. I don't know, I'm not too sure. That's kind of what we're here to figure out. But first, let me go ahead and change these stairs. Alright, and now what I'm thinking for these pathways, well, we obviously can't do the pathways over there for now, so we're going to just try to figure out what we want to do here, and then maybe go from there. I'm not actually too sure how I want this to look in general. Go figure, I didn't plan this out entirely beforehand, but we could probably figure something out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn a stack of this into, what are we thinking? Should I have be polished blackstone brick slabs, or should I have it be the just non-brick variant, or should I have it just be the regular half slabs? I'm thinking we'll go half slabs. And then I want to have it just go out from here. I'll get rid of all this grass. And if it keeps coming out all the way to our platform about here, because here is where we'll have like more of the mangrove wood, so we don't want that. And then there'll be this as well, and then this will go out to the circle like so. But then how do we want to do these platforms, because we can't necessarily just attach these two to the platform over here, because if we attach these two together, I would need to move the area where the stairs are, and that's not happening. We'll worry about that in a second, I guess. So for now, what I will do is I'll just go ahead and finish this up. Actually, maybe what we do for these is we have it kind of cut where that is and connect, maybe? Hold on, that might work, we'll see. So then if we made this symmetrical, like if we brought this out on the other side, the same number of blocks are brought out here, so that'd be 8, and then we brought it like so, and then finished it up over here. I think currently what's throwing me off about this is that it is too high. I feel like it should just be flush with the ground, but I don't think that this is a bad start, because then what we can do is have this be here, this will attach into that, this would attach over to here. I guess they technically wouldn't be touching them though. Now the question is, if I wanted a path to go from here, that would probably be the only option, right? Which this looks really weird. So maybe we don't have the gap here, but we just have the slabs go down. But I need to break all these now so that I can make them flush with the floor and then see how that looks. This is also definitely going to waste a lot of the blocks that I placed earlier, because I'm going to be dropping them into an area that I do not feel like collecting them from. So, oh well, I guess I should have planned ahead. But when have I ever done that. Well, a few times actually, but we don't talk about that. You know, another bad idea I just had was I can turn this into a circle around this statue, and it'll be like a circular walkway first, and then we figure out from there what I want to do with it. Why am I like this? Alright, there's the first circle done, and now for the second one to make this a 4-block wide pathway. Alright, and there's the second circle done. Now we just gotta fill in the area, which I'm realizing I messed up putting the grass there because I'm going to be taking it out anyway, so why did I do that? I'm not sure. And I was thinking about doing some tough brick slabs for this. I just think it'd look aesthetically better. So we'll just go ahead, tear this out, and then replace it with the tough bricks. Some areas will be easier than others, obviously because of the stone, but oh well. Also, is it just me or does anyone else like putting some blocks that kind of look more uniform next to blocks that don't really look as uniform, maybe a little bit more chaotic? Because that's kind of what I'm doing here. The blackstone is more chaotic than the uniform tiles of the tough bricks, which apparently I'm going to go through a lot of tough bricks today because that was 2 stacks of slabs and I have barely even gotten past that point. That took a lot longer than I expected, but now we have this full circle going around base of the area here. I don't think it looks too bad. Should I have put it maybe more in the center, like between these two? Perhaps, but at this point it's too late to move it in my opinion. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these, because I left the gap here obviously, and I'm now going to push it all the way to the edge, and hopefully that does not look that bad. And almost about, I'd say probably a lot longer than it should have been later, we finally have at least the start of the paths done. Yes, I know I am missing paths going to these circles, which I'm legitimately thinking about breaking out here and sending it to the edge there, just diagonally, but for right now, I'm almost out of blackstone, and I literally collected 9 stacks before this week, so yeah, I need to go grab more probably before I even think about adding those other 4 lines, and then maybe even some more decoration. I'm not too sure, but I'm quite happy actually with how this turned out. The path looks a little nice, and it kind of sections off some things a little bit, so I can add, if I want to, possibly like some benches. I was thinking actually while I was doing this that these little 6x6 intersections right here can have archways going across them. I think that would be neat, and maybe even some right there too. And then maybe have an archway somewhere along these little bends. I'm not too sure. But for now, that is a future plan because I am a little bit tired of creating this path. It's been about an hour and a half just working on Jelly. So let's go ahead and head back to our base and we'll go somewhere else to work on more building. But before we go ahead and get to where we need to be for our next thing, I need to grab some materials for here for a new type of farm, or more like a new module that will be turning into a farm. So let me grab those things really quick and I'll meet you guys over in the nether. And I think where I want to build this is going to be somewhere near our gold farm, which is designated by those torches, because if you can tell from what the ingredients I have in here are, we're making a piglin bartering farm, or at least we're going to go ahead and start working on kind of the concept, and that is going to first off with the module. So it's very simple. I'm going to go ahead and build it, and I will see you guys once it's done. And yeah, simple as that, the module is already done. Now what we need to do is get some piglins into this farm. And the way we're going to be doing that is good old-fashioned platform, which I think I'm just going to build the platform like right behind it so I don't have to move them that far. And now we wait. You know, I'm starting to wonder if I should have went ahead and built this in a place that would have been better for spawning piglins and such, because man, this is taking a while. There we go. I gotta try and get him in. We're gonna do that by getting him to follow a golden path. Alright, there's 1. I only need 2 for this, so good start. Alright, there is our 2 test subjects, finally. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place some glass over them, which apparently needs piston. I understand why this was asked to be now. And actually there's one other component I forgot about this, and that is this redstone torch that goes right here. So now what I need to do is I throw in gold. At least I thought I did. Maybe we just throw in gold into here. Press the button. and every time they trade, new gold ingot will come out, and we'll get their trades in here. So I'm gonna let that 1 stack of gold run, and we'll see what we get from them. Alright, we've gotten every item that these guys were going to give us, so let's see what we got. And you can probably see why I want to build this, especially because it gives us stuff like gravel, iron. I guess nether quartz technically is also a good thing. Crying obsidian, I believe, besides broken nether portals, is the other way you can get those. And we have enough obsidian, but if we ever need that, then it's here. Also gives us string, blackstone. It's gonna also give us some enchanted books, but we can't necessarily stack those, so it might be hard to do that. But you can see kind of why I want to make this farm now. And the thing is, this, I think, trading a stack of gold with these two took about 5 minutes. Like, I had enough time just to break the platform behind us. But yeah, no, it doesn't take them that long to run through all those materials, which is honestly pretty good. But the thing is, I'd need to build like multiple of these, and I need to figure out how to, you know, push them into a sorting system eventually. And I think that we're going to be saving for another time. Right now, I just wanted to make sure that this concept still worked, which I'm honestly quite happy it still does. But yeah, with that being said, let us go back to our base now that we have this concept, because we're going to be done with this for this week, and between weeks I'm going to go ahead, hopefully try to figure out a way to make an automatic storage system for this, and then I think we'll actually build either a major part of it or the whole farm. We'll see what happens. But yeah, let's head back to our base and we'll go ahead and do something else now. This is just for testing. And now that we're back at our base, well, this is where we're going to be for the rest of the episode. We're going to do some base improvements, just like we did, I think, 2 weeks ago. You know how I did, like, all those mini things around the base that I felt just need to be done? It's going to be similar to that, which I've got 4 items on our list. 2 of them are quite small, and 2 of them are somewhat decent size, so I think we just get straight into it, starting, of course, with the small bits. And when I say small bits, one of these is actually really, really small. And it has to do with our nether thing over here, because I, for some reason, didn't realize that there's no nether brick fence in this window. I don't know why that was the case, but it was supposed to have another brick fence. You can't even tell that it didn't, but now both of them do. So that's one done. Second thing on our list is going to require a lot of grass and stone, and that is because over here I want to go ahead and finally fill up this cave. It's kind of just been here for a while, and I think it'd be good to somewhat flatten this out finally. So we'll go ahead and do that by, well, placing down some grass and hopefully making this look a little bit smoother. We'll see. It's gonna be kind of hard though. Alright, I think that's good for now. You don't even know that the hole was here originally. Will this be changed in the future? Probably, but for now, I think it looks fine. So those were the 2 small things that I want to get done, and now we get on to the more, you know, larger projects that I had, which the first one we're actually going to do is going to be up at our plaza, because I finally decided on a design for the centerpiece that I was going to have here, which I don't know if I accidentally broke this or not, but wasn't there like a dirt circle here originally that's just no longer here? Oh well. Well, either way, we'll first get the foundation down, so I want to place down some copper grates, just like so. Get down some deep slate tiles around that, and then 2 blocks out from the grates, I'm going to be placing down some copper blocks, the cut copper specifically, and then I want to go ahead and add in a border of stairs. There we go, there is our foundation, and actually I want to go ahead and break out the centerpiece and place a frog light instead, for light, obviously. Take some stone brick walls, place them in the corners, take some deep slate tile slabs, put them around on the grates, put some chiseled copper onto the stone brick walls, and then we go ahead and inside the chiseled copper we go ahead and place stone brick stairs, then stone bricks on top of those, and then on the stairs we place down more stairs but the deep slate tiles. And speaking of deep slate tiles, we then put those in the corners. Now I actually need more copper trap doors, so we'll just make some more of those, because now what we're going to do is place down some more lighting onto here, right on these deep slate bricks or deep slate tiles, place down some more trap doors, then in between those we take some deep slate brick slabs, put them in the center, then on top we'll go ahead and put the stone brick slabs in the corners, followed by stone bricks around those, and a piece of wax chiseled copper. And that is going to be the shape for our fountain. Now if we go ahead and grab some buckets, go ahead and fill them with water, and then place them in the slabs of the deep slate bricks. And now we have our very strange fountain. But I'm not done with this yet. No, because I know that I said that I was either going to be making this a fountain or making it a statue, and I decided why not both. So now we need blackstone. And after using a bit of it for the pathing earlier this week, I hope we have enough. So for the statue, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 walls right here. Then on either side of those, we're going to go ahead and place some slabs. On top of the slabs, we'll place some full blocks, and then make sort of an L shape with the full blocks, making it all 3 wide. And in the middle of the L, we add some stairs, and at the back, we add some more slabs, which actually under those slabs, we're going to go ahead and place some full blocks along with some stairs. And in front of the slabs we placed next to the pole earlier, we'll place some more slabs, and in front up here, we'll place more full blocks. Now I gotta get back up there, because now I want to place some more stairs right here. And actually, I believe these don't need to be here. Then down here once more, we're gonna go ahead and place a little platform of slabs, adding some stairs right here and right here. I want to place a stair here, and then one facing the opposite direction. So I can place slab here with another stair. Come down here, place 2 more stairs, place a fertilite down here with some trapdoors going into the center, along with another row of stairs. And I believe that is everything that I need to place for this to have a little bit of a statue. Now, I don't know if this is obvious, but to me, it kind of reminds me of like a little dog leaping, which is, I thought was cute. I was trying to make a horse statue originally when I was testing this out, but I don't know. I ended up liking this design a lot more, and I think it's cute, and I think this will work just fine for a little bit of decoration. So we now have our lovely fountain, even though it's spewing water all over the place, as well as our statue on top, being precariously held by a bit of wall. But I think it looks nice as a centerpiece, and it also still gives us room to run around through here, so you know, bonuses. Now we have one thing left to do, and that is I'd like to go ahead and take our building blocks here, and you know how we went ahead and made like this ledge for this area over here last time? Well, I like to do the same thing actually for over near our nether portal. Kind of just cut this off slightly. I might even tear up this rock over here. But first what I need to do is go ahead and pull this up because I want to flatten the ground over here as the first job. Alright, there we go. Now that it's flattened down, we can go ahead and add the wall in that I wanted to do. And it's probably going to look very similar to that one over there. How high is it going to be? I've got no clue. We shall see. Do have to be careful though, because where I'm planning on building this is quite close to where we have our path. So yeah, this rock's also have to go. Just sayonara. So I definitely think the wall is going to attach up to this post, but then where do I put the other one? Maybe about here? Alright, one further. You know, I didn't realize that this is going to be a problem due to the fact of, well, how do we make this look nice now without, you know, just flattening this out? That's probably a future problem. Alright, there we go. Definitely, I'd say it doesn't look as great as the other one over there, but I still think it gets the job done pretty well. But as I've talked about earlier, it does run the issue of I don't know how to make this kind of flush, and I might even end up pushing this tunnel back in by one. You know, just get rid of this section entirely, push it inwards. That might actually make it a little bit easier to kind of make it more flush with this, because that's also one of the issues I'm having is the fact of, like, if I cleared this out, then it just runs into this tunnel. So I might push this back at some point. Not too sure yet. But yeah, we now have more room to work with up here. I was thinking possibly just adding something nice, maybe like some trees, maybe a bench or something like that. Just some things to kind of give this this area more character, you know? But for now, that's all I wanted to do for the ledge. So I'm gonna go clean up really quick, because that is actually where we're gonna be ending off things for this week. And I'd say, honestly, we've got some good progress done. We went ahead, of course, add at least a mason to our villager hall. I'm really needing to start focusing on hopefully getting more of those, but getting them with the right trades is kind of a hassle. Then, of course, we went ahead and went over to the Jellie statue to work on pathing. I need to get more blackstone between weeks, so I could go ahead and work on that some more next week. Then, of course, after that, we went ahead and talked about our piglin bartering system, which that's going to be a whole thing in itself next week too. And then finally, we finished up by going ahead and doing all those 4 items around our base, getting the nether fortress fixed, filling in that hole, putting the centerpiece down at our plaza, as well as making the ledge near our nether portal. So all in all, I'd say a pretty productive week. But yeah, that's going to be it. I thank you all for watching. Y'all take care. Have a great week, and I will see you guys hopefully in the next one. Alright, bye-bye.